Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com.
Oh, welcome to Drinking Bros. We got a very special guest here. Very special guest for more than one reason. You have no idea. You'll be blindsided by this later. But it rhymes with Celebrity Bang Pass. I'm married, and you're it. So
Really?
Yes. It's rare. And my wife's like, you'll never get her on the show. And I was like, I kind of think she'll be on the show. We get huge celebrities. You're here in front of my face.
I
and
never
it's
heard that before about me.
super weird. Yeah. Super weird.
No, this is like
Talking
exciting.
about Amanda Cerny, kids.
Yeah.
Everybody. Look, you're one of the biggest people in social media. You're one of the biggest actors. Like, I see you in a shit ton of movies just popping up over and over again. I feel like I see you everywhere.
Thank you. I'm trying to be everywhere, so you just can't get rid of me.
You can't.
That's like my branding strategy.
That's a strong strategy.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And you're one of those people where when social media really took off, I was super late to the game. Jared Taylor's been on it since day one. I asked my publicist at the time, I said, look, how do I play catch up? Who should I follow? And they were like, look, if you're going to follow one person, follow Amanda Cerny.
I feel like you're saying all this to make me feel good about myself.
I'm not.
No?
I'm not at all.
General
This is
Yay.
all. This is
That's
all
even better.
totally real, and I'll tell you why. So I asked her specifically because there's other people that were on social media, but like I thought their sketches were shitty, or like the guy crying in front of the home computer on his bed, or
We go back to 2 years
repeat.
ago. We were talking with another someone from Playboy, a Playmate. We were saying, look at what Amanda did from there.
Yes.
Modeling
Yep.
to comedy.
Yeah.
Like it was gold.
gold. And literally, so I started following you, and just to figure out why, my publicist was huge. But figure out why this one person, why point this one girl out. And when I started following you, the thing that I noticed was all your sketches are super high production. They're shot cinematically like a film, which was way different than everybody else was. All your pictures seem like there's a professional photographer with you all the time.
Yeah, that's
Is that true?
The new portrait mode on your iPhone.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But every one of them is flawless. We're like, God damn it, she never has a bad day. And I was never like a Kardashians fan or any of that stuff. Like my wife's a diehard like Kardashians and all that stuff. But like you don't have your own reality show, didn't have any of that. But your professionalism across all of these platforms was of somebody of that stature. It was like, she's got to be worth like $80 million to doing this shit. Who the fuck is following her like this all the time? And following you.
are.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, there was some videos like late at night when you go live in your bed. I feel like I was there, where I was just like, oh my God. Yeah.
I'm your past.
What's she doing now?
Yeah.
And now you're modeling for guests. Like you got a huge campaign. You got the hat on,
Yeah.
repping.
Well, I wore a hat because I heard you guys wear hats. So
We do.
yeah.
We do for
I like
We
it.
actually do all the time.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
For no reason. Like
Yeah.
I've got a mane of hair. So do you. I've got a salad bowl
You
up
need to
here.
let it out
I
sometimes.
mean, I just dyed
Oh.
mine,
Let it
so
loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's get like a hair whip.
I'll give you.
yeah,
I'll
there
give
you
you.
go.
One.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Easy breezy.
Jeez.
Beautiful thugger girl.
That is amazing.
God,
Really
I feel right as rain. Thank you for being here. I wanna start from the beginning. Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Steeltown.
Yeah.
Are you a sports fan?
Well, Steelers, and just I inherited that.
Yeah.
So.
You have to, right?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
You get kicked out of the town.
You're
My
born
dad
into a
was-
terrible towel.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they wrap you in a terrible
Yeah,
towel, like right out
exactly.
of the vagina.
And then they send you off into the world and say, support us from afar.
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then I moved to Connecticut for 9 years, and then I moved to Massachusetts and North Carolina, and
We're out in North
Wow.
Carolina.
Were you in a military family?
No, my dad, he did pharmaceutical sales.
Anything good? Like any of the good drugs?
I don't know. I finally figured out what he did when I was like 18, because I didn't understand it when I was younger. I was like, Dad's just moving again.
Yeah.
And then parents got divorced, and then mom's moving again.
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of go with it. But then I ended up majority in South Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I went in like West Palm Beach, and then I went to college at Florida State.
How old were you when you moved to Florida?
13, 14.
God, I've always had a theory. Here's why I ask. Florida girls, there's something fucking crazy in the water in Florida.
Like Arizona State.
Yes, like Arizona State.
Yeah.
Like any girls who go to Arizona State. Did you go to Florida State?
Yeah.
God damn it, I knew it.
When
There's
were you at
something
FSU?
in the water in Florida.
I went, what year was that? I'm forgetting my timeline. 2009?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was living in Destin from 2008 to
Oh, okay.
12.
You were close. Yeah.
You're a fucking
Destin's
guy.
beautiful.
You're a fucking guy.
Yeah.
Any girl from Florida though, there's some. You don't feel
Yeah.
like there's something weird in there. It's like all the dudes are like Franco from Spring Breakers.
Yeah.
Where it's like weird tattoos
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
be there. It looks like relatives have drawn them on, like amateur
Probably.
tattoo artists.
No, you know
Yeah.
the whole news thing where it's always Florida man through an alligator through like a drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
Florida man.
too much
Yeah,
free
yeah,
time
yeah,
or
yeah.
something. I don't know. It's, just something in the water for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good and bad.
The girls are
Yeah.
ridiculously hot, and then
Yeah.
they leave. Like they're out of Florida after
Yeah.
that.
They're like, I'm going to be a star.
Yeah, they didn't want to stay.
Yeah.
Because
Then
they
they
have
moved
to
to
stay as
Missouri.
retirees. Yeah, exactly. And they moved to Missouri. They're on
And
a
they're-
riverboat.
But they're a star there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
Like, they made it.
Did you have fun at Florida State?
I did. I
Party
didn't,
school.
Yeah.
Did you rage?
Yeah. I did the sorority thing, but that's because I feel like,
You had to?
yeah, for the experience.
It's super
thing.
Greek. What house were you in?
Kappa Delta.
Oh, you were KD.
Yeah.
Those girls got down. Cerny, you were fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There was a dark past that we don't know about, I
Yeah,
bet.
well, okay. So I went to Florida State. I did Kappa Delta. Really expensive.
Yeah.
I mainly was in it for the food plan, just because you got great lunches and free. Like I didn't eat plant based at the time, so the vegan dessert was like awesome.
Sure.
Or, I mean, not the non-vegan dessert, is all dairy. But so I went there for the meal plan, and I had to pay for all this, so I had to like make sure it made sense for my budgeting. I was like, okay, sorority experience and a meal plan. Okay, I'm eating, and then
Yeah.
so it's just like make it work in that way. But
What'd you major in?
international business.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did you graduate with it?
No.
Ah, there it is.
I
There it is.
left my senior year.
You did?
Yeah.
To come to LA?
No, to Miami.
To Miami? What was going on in Miami? Modeling?
No, so I came to LA because I did my centerfold, which was so random in my life. And I flew out to LA and I did a test shoot for Playmate Centerfold, and
Okay.
I got it. And I was like, okay, now this is kind of like steering my life differently. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do any government work kind of that I wanted to do most likely. So I'm going to move down to Miami, and I wanted to do film and television down there, but because it was like more of a city, but still close to home. So I moved to Miami, and there wasn't anything for acting out there.
No,
so
there's a lot of modeling opportunities, but not much
Yeah.
for acting there.
I think the only show that ended up there was Ballers, like,
Ballers.
and then Pain and Gain shot there, which was like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
after the fact. I mean,
So
that's
what
Yeah,
what
that's
got
like-
you to even try out for that centerfold?
I was randomly in my dorm at college. I was like in between classes, and I always just like find something to do in my free time. But I think it was Facebook. I just started using that. And two of my friends from home were like, oh, a girl from our hometown did Playmate Centerfold. You should do it. And it was so random because both of them messaged me. I think it's like a sign that both at the,
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time, but they're probably right next to each other. And they're like,
yeah. Hey,
Let's get somebody to do this.
let's get Cerny to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Dude. Cerny's down for whatevs.
yeah. So
She's counting her meal money in fucking KD
like,
house.
yeah, well, how can I make extra money here?
Yeah.
But then I remembered, like, they said it to me. I'm like, no, I'm going to, how dare you? I'm going to school for business, and that's what I'm doing. But then The Girls Next Door was on. Do you guys remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
show?
oh, yeah. Kendra and
Yeah.
Holly.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I'll just send bikini photos that I had. And then, like, I sent them out the next day. I went to class, and the next day I had an email in my inbox saying, we want to fly you out to LA. I was like,
From an email address that says playboy.com. and
Yeah.
you're like, whoa.
yeah.
Whoa.
I'm like,
Did you not believe it at first? Where you were like, wait, is
Yeah,
this a guy from like
Yeah.
Ukraine? Who's-
Well, the address was on their website, so it was the email address. So I was like, oh, okay. It's,
you were able to confirm it.
yeah, it was
Gotcha.
confirmed in that sense.
Yeah.
But so then I decided, okay, I'm gonna fly out to LA. I've always wanted to go to California, and I've always been like super spontaneous. I mean, my whole life, I've had to pay for everything I've done, and just like take random opportunities of things that I wanted to do. But as Playboy, I saw it like a super amazing magazine. It's like an iconic magazine. Hugh Hefner started it. It was when he was still there is when I did it. The same original photographers is when I did it. So I flew out to LA. I got picked up in a limo, which I thought was amazing. I'm like, yeah.
It's still amazing today.
Yeah.
Like when a limo shows up today, I'm like, fuck, I'm in a limo.
I'm like old school. They're back.
Yeah. And I'm still looking for the liquor.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't care.
It's empty and they have water.
I know. It's
Yeah.
always brown water now.
Yeah.
Did you get to
It's
meet
like
Hugh
super
Hefner?
old. Yeah. When I got there, I didn't have any like nice clothes or anything. I just had like my travel clothes. And
It sounds like a Poison video. Girl steps off the bus, one suitcase and a bandana. Yeah.
But I ended up going in to their main dining room at the mansion, and they're like, "All right, you have to meet Hugh Hefner now." And I was like, "Now?" I'm like, "Can I just like shower and get ready?" Like, "Nope, he has like his bedtime and like all this stuff." I'm like, "Okay." So I just went into the dining room, and there was like some other girls in there. I think it was before Hef was married because he had like multiple girlfriends at the time that were always there. So I go in there and I sit in a chair at the table, and I was like, okay, just waiting for him to come down. And the girls were super nice, like so supportive and just like really friendly. And then Hef came down, and then he's like, "Oh, you're in my chair." But
Wow, you're in his house.
Yeah, but he made.
And you were like, "Yeah, you need something, old man?"
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I was like, "I thought you girls were nice, and nobody told me this is his chair." But he didn't care. He just said it as a joke, and then he was super polite, like such a gentleman. He was like, "Congratulations, like, wish you the best, and." Just feel free to, our kitchen's your kitchen, order food any 24 hours, anytime. Feel free to come in and out as you want. Like, you're in the guest house, so do whatever you want, and good luck on your shoots, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. Like, thanks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. So then I did my test shoot out here with, like, the photographers, like, first time ever posing nude for, like, my centerfold. And which I didn't even think they were going to pick up. So I was like, whatever, it's an experience, and these will never see the light of day. So
how many people are on that shoot?
I want to say like 10 people.
Wow.
Because
so the first time you're ever getting naked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are 10 random people there.
But I was so nervous at first, but they made it seem super professional. Like the lighting guy was focused on the lighting. He didn't want to fuck that up because he's fired. Like photographer needs perfect lighting because they didn't do Photoshop. Like they let the lights do all the work. So it's like, everybody, the makeup artist has been there forever. So it's like
yeah, and it's a lot like sex scenes in a movie. Like none of this shit is as glamorous as you think it is. Like all the guys behind the camera are just trying to keep their fucking job.
Yeah.
So they're like, great, I'm lighting so and so, and then 2 hours later they're gonna be doing it for somebody else, and it's about time and speed and getting the best shots and getting out of there.
For sure.
And not fucking it up.
Yeah, it's not like there's one guy with like a popcorn bag over his, and he's just like, oh, time for another snack break. Like it's pretty professional and all this shit.
Yeah, for sure. Like I didn't feel uncomfortable whatsoever. I felt like it was normal. Like, there's just sexy photos and then you're done. And then I flew back to Florida State, and I'm like, what just happened? Like I was just in school, and then I went to California. But I went out to all these like crazy parties out in LA. The first party I went to was like Paris's birthday party or something when I was out there. And the Halloween party at the mansion when it was cool still. It became...
Those were awesome parties.
Yeah, it was fun at the time. And then...
There was no Me Too's. There was no anything. It was just like, hey, there's Coke in the bathroom, and it's for everyone.
Yeah,
so
that's parties in LA.
It's great.
In general.
Yeah, it was a better time.
So this was between, so after you had went back, before this had gotten published?
Yeah.
So because
they don't publish it. Okay. What they do is like, they approve the photos, and if they're approved, then it goes on to Hef to look at, and if Hef approves, then it goes on to like the team to look at, and then if all of them approve it, then they'll make you a Playmate of the Month that they have like 12 a year. And then it goes down. Like what the way I saw it was, okay, there's been, celebrities that have done this, like Drew Barrymore, like, just really.
Yeah, everybody and their mothers. Everybody and their mother has been Playboy.
And
Like,
I thought and Heidi Klum, like,
oh yeah.
I was like, this is amazing that they chose this random girl from Florida State to
Well,
to do
Playboy's
it.
always been classy. It's not like Hustler where it's just
Yeah.
like, hey,
No, yeah, I would never do that.
there's
like,
a bunch
yeah.
of objects involved on that shoot.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh god.
That's a dangerous one.
Yeah. But Playboy's always been like a classy thing, and I never
Yeah.
understood the negative connotation that some people apply to it, where it's
Yeah.
like, hey man, it's helped a lot of people's careers.
Yeah, but for me, it was an obstacle in mine. Like, I did it, and then I moved down to Miami, and then I was doing, because there wasn't much acting out there, so I did live EDM event hosting, because Miami is like all music.
Oh, and it's all
Yeah.
EDM.
Yeah,
There's
for
a
sure.
lot of Molly down there.
And it was huge at the time.
Yeah.
Also, like, Florida was just like living off like, those tracks.
And the like big giant festivals and parties and
Yeah.
stuff down there. I mean, because
Ultra
it
and-
starts at Destin and works its way all the way
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
And down to Miami. Like
Yeah.
you're doing, 7,000 boats that are just anchoring
So
Yeah.
fun.
water and holding.
It was a lot of fun to do. But then I was like, all right, creatively, I'm so limited to like hype up crowds and stuff. I'm like, this isn't what I want to do. So I ended up moving out to LA, and I was looking for a management and agency, and it was so hard for me to get one because they were like, oh, you're a playmate. That's what you are. So that's your bucket that you're in. And I'm like, no, I just like so random, but that's not who I am, and that's not what I want to do. So I had to, everybody just kept telling me no. So I just built a reel for myself, and that's why I started social media. So I started posting on social media like content that could be a reel for myself, and then it started to get like 1,000 views. Like, so for me, I was super excited about that. I'm like, holy shit, 1,000 views, like that's a lot. And then I started doing this app called Vine came out, and then one of my friends who does YouTube, I was talking to him about it, Jimmy Tatro, and he's amazing, like super funny guy, great actor. And he was telling me, start on Vine first. Like, this new app is going to be great. I'm doing it too. And, it's just short comedic skits that you can do on there and just really learn how to edit and stuff like that, even though it's so short, but you get like a story across. I was like, okay, great. So I just started doing that all the time. And now that I look back at my old videos, I almost like cringe a little bit, but it's
Well, no
like,
matter if you guys started movies, you'll still
Yeah.
cringe, no
Yeah.
matter what. Where you look back and you're like, oh fuck.
Well,
'Cause it's a learning
timing-wise,
process.
Yeah, all of it.
Like
Yeah.
timing wise, it's almost the perfect storm because Facebook Pages software, like the pages, when you can create a page, didn't come out until early 2011.
Right.
So like at this point, like even back then, like nobody really used Instagram, like at
Yeah.
all.
No,
like,
yeah.
And then so
And there wasn't video on
and,
Instagram.
Well,
Yeah.
again, too, from an audience
all
perspective,
photos.
people that are both old and young fans of a magazine like Playboy have seen these things for their whole life, but they've never heard the voice of one of the Playmates unless they're either on the big show or they're doing something for MTV. So it's like when you got to peer into the personal life for the first time of somebody that you saw in the magazine, that's where I think this started changing.
But
Yeah.
that's not
The
even
time.
where, that would be like an interesting story, but that wasn't the case for me. Like when I started doing Vine and stuff, nobody even knew I was a playmate.
Really?
Nobody had any idea. Even the Viners that I was doing stuff with, like, had no idea that I was a playmate. Like I started doing comedy content on there and then just really trying to focus on that. But like at the same time, I had to find a balance between like sexy and comedy and just like finding that balance for myself to be able to brand myself more in the comedy realm than just like a sexy icon or figure. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to really brand myself more towards comedy so I'm able to gain the respect from people that I'm working with and with like management and talent. And then later on is like when people started really Googling me and like
Right.
that's when they would be like, holy shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, wait a minute. So that, like, for me, that was kind of like my path. And then, there's like other girls that asked me a million questions about it that, wanted to do more things. Like some were just so happy with just posing and being sexy and embracing that. But for me, I just wanted to show more talent outside of just beauty. So I'm just like, all right, that was
I know.
my overall goal.
I stumbled on it. Like I didn't know that you had been in Playboy. It was actually Vincent Marcus that showed me because it was right. It was
Vincent?
2000.
Yeah. Yeah.
2012,
You can't see it.
maybe?
Vincent
12 or
Marcus is off
He's in the
camera.
corner.
Yeah.
He's like hiding.
because he was- yes, you did. You showed it was on Vine. Like, her. You were like, look at this girl. She's freaking funny. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
So it was.
was I.
Yeah.
I was like,
no.
Vincent?
No, you showed me that her on Vine. I didn't know.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah, hold
the
on.
sentence I heard was Vincent Marcus showed me the Playboy that
No,
you were in.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And
showed
that's
me
how I
her on
found
Vine.
out about Amanda Cerny.
He's like, my girlfriend's
No,
gonna
so for
hear
the
this.
first-
Yeah.
3 to 6 months of following her and following her on Instagram and stuff, had no clue until somebody else, like I was like, oh, did you watch this video? They're like, oh, that's a Playboy girl. What are you talking about?
I'll go a step further. I've been following you for a couple of years, strictly out of the publicist. Didn't know till maybe 3 weeks ago.
Oh, see, I
Had
think that's
no
great.
idea.
You
Yeah.
one-upper.
But no, but and the reason why is after all of this shit and seeing you do all of this amazing, like the guest thing that's a massive campaign.
Yeah.
And with your followers and all that stuff, I'm like, I don't understand how this girl just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like because that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then when I went back and I started doing some research, I was like, oh, all right, fuck.
Yeah.
It was baby steps, and then by you making your own videos. To me, like, because everybody moves out here with the same dream of acting and all that shit,
Yeah.
and they always bitch that I'm not getting a part and I'm not getting parts and I have nothing to put on my reel, and if I don't have a reel, I can't get jobs and whatever. There's no reason you shouldn't be shooting all the time on your own. All these fucking phones have 4K.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's so
you can
possible
make the
now.
best stuff, and it's the power is in your own hands to get your face in. If you want to be an actor and get it out there, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
And the fact that you did that on your own. Before kind of Instagram blew up, because now everybody's playing catch up,
Yeah.
trying to be the next Amanda Cerny.
Well, it's amazing for people now too, because I was kind of one of the ones that was doing it and having to. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a writer. I still don't. Didn't have a writer. Didn't have a director. Didn't have a producer. Didn't have a videographer. Didn't have an editor. So I had to learn all these things for the past, I don't know, 5 years. And then now is when I'm finally able to start working with a cinematographer, start
Right.
working with and in that process I was learning. I had to learn how to edit on Premiere. I'm like, what is this?
Did you edit your own sketches?
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I still do most of them, but like a lot of them I send off now for just time wise. It just doesn't make sense for me to be sitting behind a computer for YouTube videos for like 6 hours
Sure.
anymore. I'm like, all right, I need to like time management this.
Do you still nitpick those final edits and be like, "Hey, frame, fuck it,
Yeah.
like, just, dude,
Yeah.
give me
I'm
3
so-
frames off. Don't fuck me."
Yeah.
That's a terrible angle you
It makes
chose.
such a difference,
Yes,
though.
it
Like
does.
those little
Especially in
moments.
comedy.
Yeah, it's like those extra beats is what
Yes.
makes a huge.
Comedy's all
difference.
about timing, and nobody understands. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. And then
Um,
you get some guy who you shipped it off to, and
Yeah.
it's like, "Hey, bro,
Yeah.
what the fuck were you doing?"
Yeah, I know. You almost get angry for a second. You're like, what? That is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then in your head, you're like, all right, calm down.
That's why I had to direct it, because
Yeah.
I wanted power in the edit. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you go back and look at like movies you've done or yourself or different things.
Yeah.
And when it's out of your control, and
Yeah.
they choose like terrible takes
like,
or
why?
shots, and you're like, what
Yeah.
the fuck, bro?
Yeah, should be in my contract to get final say.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, good luck.
Not in a million
Well, that would
years.
make the process of a production like 50
Oh
million
my
times
god! With the
longer.
most narcissistic people on the
Yeah,
planet trying to
good-
edit their own take, you would never have one movie come out in
No.
history of man. Yeah,
Like-
Titanic. Leo would have been alive. Kate would
Yeah.
have been dead.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
like, dude, she was a little overweight. Let's get her off the shit. I'm Leo.
That's
like
so
I'm gonna
funny.
live forever.
I had a meeting with this jiu-jitsu guy. He does like a lot of the training for people in Hollywood. But I had a meeting with him, and he was telling me these different actors that he was working with, and all of them were fighting to see who was able to win the fight scene. Because like one of them didn't want to win, and I mean
Or
one
lose.
of them
Yeah.
didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
Like both of them didn't want to lose, and they were like big actors, so they were just arguing back and forth of like, I need to win this. There's so much like ego in that. It's funny to
It's
me.
ridiculous. In comedy, you don't really have ego.
No,
And
you're
those
like, make
action
fun of me.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
dude, do I get raped in this? Because it'd be
Yeah.
awesome. It'd be really funny if I got raped in this.
You get away with it in that world
yeah.
of just being able to make humor out of dark situations. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the military, by the way, is making humor out of dark situations. Jared's the master of it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know he was military?
No, I had no idea.
I know
Thank
nobody
you.
does because of his svelte figure.
Yeah.
You look at a man like Jared and you're like, oh my God, male model,
Yeah.
bodybuilder, probably not military. No, but he was. He was.
Wow, he does it all.
I know. No, he was
Jeez.
Air Force.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you
And
fly?
Jared,
No, I fly now.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't
cool.
fly for the military. I was on the ground talking to the people that flew.
Oh, yeah, but still. That's
but bombing the hell out of people. Like Jared's killed 30,000 people. And you're like, you wouldn't know it because he's like, oh man, I'm super excited to wear a hot dog costume later. It's like, bro, I know you killed 30,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get
Yeah.
beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to
He's
hear
trying
that
to
out of your
rebrand himself and throw him off. Throw
out of
you
your
off.
body.
Yeah, yeah.
But he is the social media messiah, and so like
Yeah.
him like he's had a crazy successful clothing company, a whiskey company, now a coffee company that's worth like a
we
gajillion
talked
dollars.
about your coffee company a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like, this has been 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
Like, because we originally were going to get you out to Vegas and do some stuff with tanks.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was all just timing. Like,
Yeah,
we're
something-
fighting our schedules constantly.
I couldn't get to Vegas somehow. It was like we got stuck in LA.
Oh, and
Yeah.
that was last year.
Yeah.
You were going to come be on the show, actually, when we were set up in an Airbnb out there.
Oh,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but when I hooked up with these guys to do their movie, because we met 3 years ago at this point, and I was like, hey man, do you know this girl Amanda Cerny? She'd be rad. And he was like, yeah, I fucking know who that is. And I was like, oh man, I'm super late to social media. So he was the one who
You're
caught
just
me up
using
to
the one
speed.
name that you got.
Dead
You're like
serious.
this is
Yeah.
a
Well,
legitimate
you know,
name.
that's
and I
how
can reuse
that's
it.
how foreign it was to me. And literally, he was just like, he goes, bro, you got a lot to fucking learn. And like, so I've been studying with him for years on this shit.
Yeah.
It was almost before I'd met Matt. Before you
Yep.
know, when I was running just the photo studio and video stuff out of my garage, I went to a local comedy thing, and talked to the owner and the manager there, and that's who linked me with Vincent.
Yep.
And literally, our first day meeting was he just needed me to shoot him a reel on the black screen, like real quick for something that he was either auditioning for or something like that. And that's like, I didn't know what Vine was at that point. And that's when he showed me Vine and you and everything, and it was like, oh shit,
Yes.
this is a whole new world I didn't know about.
And something that was super fascinating that came up last night was there was a guy partying with us last night named Chris Lepore.
Oh, Curtis
Lepore.
Yeah.
Who I'd never met before until last night. Unbelievably fascinating guy.
Yeah.
But he was kind of giving us a background on 1600 Vine. And when he did, I was like, why? Because he was naming all the people that live there, including yourself and Batch and all these guys. And I was like, if you did a documentary on that building, why and how all of you got started, it would be really, really fascinating, because now all you guys, I'm not going to go into how much you make, but like now all you guys are making a gajillion dollars.
Billions of dollars.
Exactly.
Billions.
And getting guest campaigns and things like that. But why do you think all of those people in one building at the same time went on to do this crazy shit? Was it by accident? Did somebody say, hey, you guys got to live here, that all these other people are living here? How did that work out?
I actually hate that building, but
By the way,
yeah.
and everybody who lives
But
there
it's
says
so
the same
iconic.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you could recognize it from anything because we've seen
Everybody
it.
who lives there has said the same thing.
Yeah.
I hate that building.
The
but
reason is, so we all ended up there. I mean, I lived in LA before like the whole social media thing, because like I said, I was trying to do acting out here. And like with that, I lived at the Broadcast Center, and that was like kind of like in the Palazzo. That's like kind of the first places everybody moves when they move to LA.
right by the Grove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody moves to the Grove, and then they find
it's
their
like,
their
oh.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, so Batch was actually the first one that lived at 1600 Vine, and I met Batch. He was one of the first Vines I did on social media, like it with.
And was it big at the time? Sorry to interrupt you, but was that big
Vine?
at the time? Yeah. Did you know that, hey, this is a thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was still growing. Like, it wasn't like the biggest thing at the time. Like, it wasn't like what it became, but it was definitely the early stages of it for sure. So it's like you see the traction on it, so it, you want to be on it still, but it just didn't explode to what it was. So I met up with Batch because Jimmy actually introduced me to Batch too. And then he's like, Batch is hilarious, like really talented guy and a good person. Like, you should meet him. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went and met up with Batch, and I shot content with him, Alfonso, which is an actor now. Also, he's amazing, hilarious. And who else was there? Yeah, it was me,
Curtis?
Batch. Oh, Melvin Gregg. So, it wasn't Curtis yet.
Okay.
So Curtis didn't even, he lived somewhere else in LA. but a lot of people didn't even live in LA. So I lived at the broadcast center, and then I ended up reaching out to everybody on the Vine app that was like really growing, and we all did collaborations all the time because we all saw it as fun, and that's what it was, because we were making content, and it was just like so exciting because you're getting this huge following on just content you're having fun making. So, and it wasn't a business yet either. And at the same time we were all growing, we all got to know each other, and the different people that, like, you know, the Paul brothers, who don't have the best reputation right now, but
No,
yeah.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I know.
I'm not
I
gonna.
know.
I'm not even gonna go.
Yeah.
down.
So we'll go back to my story.
Yeah.
So
we'll pivot out of
yeah,
that.
pivot.
Yeah.
So they were in Ohio and super young, and Logan was wanting to come to LA, and I had an extra bedroom in my apartment, like just for my sister and stuff when she visited. And I was like, you feel like you know everybody on the app so well because you see them every single day. So I'm like, oh yeah, you could just stay in like my guest bedroom. And then he came, stayed in there for a week, went back to Ohio, was like, hey, I want to come back again. I'm thinking about moving out. And I'm like, okay, you can stay again, no problem. And he's like, oh, can I bring my dad? I was like, okay. So he's
Who asked to bring their dad?
Logan Paul.
Really? His father?
Yeah, Greg Paul.
Yeah. Sure, Greg Paul.
Yeah.
To LA.
Yeah.
And
In
stay
my
in your
apartment.
house.
Yeah. So Logan stayed in the extra bedroom, and his dad stayed on my couch. And then, yeah, so they just stayed in my apartment for over a week, and then they went back, and then he came back with his brother Jake, and they got the apartment 2 floors above me at the broadcast center. So
That's a crazy
it's-
amount of talent in one building, like at the same time.
yeah, we were all there, and then so eventually Batch still lived at 1600 Vine, and I would find myself driving every single day to 1600 Vine. And in LA, if you live here, you know, even if you're driving 3 miles, it's going to take you like
An hour.
30
Yeah.
30 minutes to an hour to get there. So I'm like, my lease was coming up, and I was like, I just need to move there. And in the meantime, other people were moving to LA, or their leases were coming up, and they were just like, what's a cool building? So, and it had nice amenities and stuff. So we all ended up moving to one by one, just being like, all right, I'll just move there. So it all happened out of recommendation from each other.
Right.
And just because we were collaborating all the time, and just friends too. So we all ended up moving in that building. I mean, Wampa, myself, Curtis, Batch.
What did the neighbors think who weren't on Vine? Like, holy shit, these guys are fucking filming crazy shit.
Oh, they
every
probably
day?
hated us.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, they
For
had
good
to.
reason, because there's like some younger kids too in the building also that were like 15 years old at the time, that parents let them live in LA. And like,
which is creepy.
which is, you know, it's actually happening a lot more now than you think. Like,
There used to be a place right off of Barham,
Yeah.
like this apartment complex, where Corey Haim died. Just to bring it on
Yeah,
a super chipper note.
yeah.
But where he died, yeah, exactly. Cheers, R.I.P. Corey
Yeah,
Haim.
I poured out on your
Lost
table, but-
Boys,
yeah.
Goonie. No, I'm kidding. But in there was where all the child actors stayed for pilot season.
Oh, that's
So all the
creepy.
children, there's a documentary about it. So it was on Netflix for a while. They would
dark?
fly out with their parents. They would stay in these buildings, these kids.
Yeah.
With the parents and the kids. They would do acting classes down in the conference room right next to the gym. And then they would get ready for pilot season and then leave and go back to wherever else they came from.
Yeah.
And it was creepy. Letting somebody come out at 15 years old.
Yeah,
to
I thought this
city,
story was
Dude.
going somewhere like dark.
No,
Like,
no,
and then,
no.
and then what
No,
happened?
no, I had an Uber driver that literally told me,
Yeah.
oh, I moved my daughter out here. She's
Yeah.
16.
Yes.
And like, she just put her in an apartment. Well, she's just trying to work on her Instagram. I'm like,
Yeah, it's so
What?
it's so true.
But it's fucked because you're not old enough at that point, in my opinion,
Mm.
to be like, oh, hey, you're 15. You've seen the world now. Congratulations. Here's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because you come here.
Yeah,
and it's
my mom
big,
would never let me come out to LA when I was like, as long as she can control me until I'm 18.
Yeah,
she
because
would-
it's a culture shock. And when
Yeah.
you get here, you're like, all right, cool. If you're ambitious and you are chasing a dream
Yeah.
and you're passionate about it, yes, your life is going to be different than every other fucking horror story you hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Clearly, you were one of the people who was ambitious, knew what you wanted to do, and all that stuff. The fact that it worked out in that particular building with all of those particular people,
Yeah.
and to see each of your career paths now is pretty unheard of.
Yeah, it's crazy because all of us were already kind of big on social media. All of us had between, And it was rare at the time to have 1 million followers. Like,
It's rare now.
It's
well, it's a little bit, it is rare now, but it's a little bit more common than what it was.
Sure.
Like, so
the quest for, I mean, I remember the quest for 1 million views on YouTube.
Was like-
that was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got 1 million, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember Matt and I, like, we don't know when this is going to happen, but when it does, that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
We've
like
made
we
it.
made it.
but
We've made it.
And then the quest for 1 million Facebook followers on a Facebook fan page, like, nowadays it's just a little more common. Like,
Yeah.
it was so much more
Yeah.
prestigious, like 3-4 years ago.
But I remember,
It was like,
I remember
wow.
when Matt made 1 million, and I was like, "Oh, what are you guys doing tonight?" And you're like, "I don't know, getting Mexican." So you're
No,
gonna
we went
chase
to
this
Chili's.
dream forever, yeah.
And
And
then
chase this dream forever. That's what are
celebrate.
you doing now? Probably getting the fajitas and the potato skins. You know?
like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
made it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So now that you have all of this shit, and
Yeah.
and again, your life looks incredible on Instagram. What do you want to do now? Like, what is the next step for you?
Yeah, I mean, now for me, it's always what I started with. Like, it's me wanting to do film and TV. So now I'm working on, I've done Workaholics. I've worked with Comedy Central. I've worked on, Adam Devine's House Party. Like, I've seen these people grow too, because it's been like 8 years of just knowing, like, people in the industry and stuff.
Sure.
And it's a process too. Like, people think it's so easy to do social media, but like the more that they try to do it, or the more that
But
people
you're
are not.
dump trucking
Oh
major
my God.
celebrities, and
Yeah.
it's like they
Yeah.
would benefit from being
Yeah.
around. Yeah, especially now, productions and casting is going towards how many viewers are you going to bring to this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and-
all changed.
I don't know if you followed like Deadline.com, which is
Yeah.
pretty much the industry standard. So like, again, another tip from a publicist was like, hey, if you're serious about it, you want to find out what's casting and what's going on in town, read that every fucking morning. Every hour they
Yeah.
change the stories. What they started doing about 2 or 3 years ago was when they report the box office numbers on Sunday, they tell you how many social media imprints you have for the stars themselves.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Hart and The Rock
Yeah,
really went out and, they made 40 million impressions on this, Jumanji or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And like the game has changed completely. So somebody like you, I'm surprised that you're not able to jump into a vehicle where it's like, fuck, we've got to promote this movie and get it out. Like, I think it's coming soon for you.
Yeah, like I totally agree. Like, I initially, when I had meetings like with directors and producers, like even 3 years ago, when I don't know, or 4 years ago when Vine was still alive, and like even all those other platforms, because I was able to grow my following. From Vine, I had 4.6 million on, and then they deleted the app. But in the meantime, I saw the value of the other platforms, so I still was creating content on Snapchat, and I became the top 10 creator on Snapchat. And I saw opportunities on Instagram when they got video, and then I became the top 100 on Instagram and the top 5 most viewed story on Instagram in the world. So I'm like, okay, I have social media. I have my audience because I've nurtured them and grew them with me, and they
And
feel
it's an all day thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm up till like 7 a.m. sometimes. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But not healthy. Yeah. But even with that, like, okay, I've done all that, done the hard work on that side, and I, in the meantime, still did my acting classes, improv classes, and it's stunt classes, everything, just because I want to be fully prepared when I get the opportunity for it. But it's a lot of preparation for that opportunity. And obviously, like, there's opportunities now where they're offering, like, okay, there's this $2 million budget film, there's this like $1 million budget independent film, and it's like, I'd rather create my own projects for budgets like that.
Sure.
And then for the larger roles and the larger movies, really be able to promote it and be excited about it and bring that to the table of just being involved with those larger movies that really help me in that world. So it's like, now I'm just working on developing, and then obviously doing like the casting and the auditions and just getting in with the right directors and producers, because it's, at the end of the day, it's all about who you kind of know too in this world.
And are your reps supportive of that? Of like, hey, or do they say, Cerny, you can't fucking keep passing on these goddamn movies? Like,
Well, I don't have reps anymore.
whoa.
Yeah, so
Whoa.
yeah.
So you're out, no manager, agent, nothing.
Well, manager, I currently have a manager, and yeah, so that was something new too that I found, like a great one that I'm in love with. Agency, I left the agency just because I wasn't receiving the attention. And I think what kind of happened was I went with them when they weren't ready to fully understand like what a social media talent can do, and
Do you
not
mind me
just.
asking which one?
I was a CAA.
Yeah, so I was as well.
Yeah.
They do not get that world. They don't understand that world, and they want to have you on the roster for when they figure it out.
Yeah.
But they're a ways away from figuring it out still.
Yeah.
And they'll still value other actors of like, oh no, they're real actors, and it's like, hey motherfucker, to promote that movie, you need that social media. These other actors that are real actors, they don't have the social media to promote the movie. Therefore, the movie's not going to do as well if you had somebody like you in the movie.
To
Yeah.
12-year-old kids are not watching
Yeah.
daytime television right now.
And when
Yeah.
So how do you get them to go to a movie theater to watch a movie?
They call it the lost generations of like, that's what the brands call them, because it's generations that you can't reach without social media. Like it's just generations that consume content on the internet. So
yeah,
it's
so like this weekend, it's Oscar weekend. Are you going to all the Oscar parties?
just the Elton John one.
On
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah. The benefit is for
AIDS.
AIDS. I forgot the quilt. I'm kidding. But like when you go there, I guarantee you'll probably be like the most famous person there. No matter like all the other actors and all that shit, just simply because they don't have the social media following. And that's really like, I bet you there's a ton of celebrities that follow you that probably blow your mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's also really cool because before people would, like, we all know Hollywood just tries to put you in a bucket. Like, okay,
Yes.
you're a social media influencer now. So it changed from me being a playmate in that bucket. Now I got picked up out of that bucket, and then I got put in you're a social media influencer bucket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but I'm a talented social media influencer.
Yeah.
I can
But I'm
act.
writing,
Yeah.
editing, like
doing all this
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
damn
yeah.
it. But anyway, so so the perception on social media was a lot of people didn't understand social media, so they didn't understand like the actors or the people that were creating content specific for social media. Like they're capable of doing other things, but they understand, you know, who their audience is and what they're giving them and what they want. But with that, like even just being put in that bucket, like directors and producers would look to social media influencers as new marketing platforms, but they didn't use them as the talent that they were, why they have such a large audience of 30 million people, 40 million people, or whatever.
Right.
It's like there has to be something there.
Yeah, there's got to be
Yeah.
some form of talent,
Yeah,
some inkling
people-
in there.
People are choosing this, you know? But even with that, it's like they first started off with doing marketing for movies and stuff through social media influencers that have nothing to do with the film. And they're like, we're just not seeing the same. We're seeing some better results, but not that. I'm like, yeah,
they would
because
hire people to just
Yeah.
do
Because they're not leads.
extra-
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's like, because you're not casting them even first, like a bigger than just one scene in your movie or anything like that. Just if they're bringing that much value, like The Rock and Kevin Hart are, like,
Yeah.
I mean, some of us even have the same as or more engagement, you know? So and that's what people need to look at too. And I think brands finally learn to understand is like, okay, don't look just at the number of followers that somebody has.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of engagement that they have too, because it makes like the world of difference in that. If you have an interactive following, you're going to get them places and get them excited about things, and you have more of an influence over them.
Absolutely. And who's an actress that you look up to, who you aspire to? Like, I want that career.
I love Angelina Jolie. I think
That is the last person I would have
Really?
thought out of you. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I love.
You want to have adopted kids?
Yeah, I want to help the world. Yeah. I think,
Look, there's a lot
yeah.
of. Like, she's got what, 6?
Yeah, she has
8?
a lot. I mean, I personally could not have 8 kids.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No way.
I don't even like to be around 8 children. I have a kid.
I
like
have a niece
8's
and nephew, and
Yeah,
that's good.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. What do you like about her specifically? Because I see you, and forgive me for guessing it and putting you in my own little bucket.
Yeah.
But like a Goldie Hawn or
I
like
get that all the time. Yeah. But I agree with that. Like the path of my career, for sure. Like pathwise, yeah. But I guess I kind of went more with who I've always looked up to and who was kind of my role model.
Have you got to meet her yet?
No. Yeah, and probably that's why too. Like
Yeah.
I've never met her, and I don't think I want to meet her because then
no, you shouldn't. I met her.
No, but-
no.
I met her and it was weird.
Oh no.
I was at a DGA thing, and she was in a limo. That's when she was married to Billy Bob Thornton. She had the
okay.
vial of blood around her neck.
Oh.
And they were making out in this limo with the door open,
Yeah.
legs spread, the whole thing. Like like 2 teenagers on spring break, and I was like, oh my god,
Like
we're
Angelina.
outside the DGA, people are taking pictures, and she just leans out, she's like, fuck it. And I was like, oh,
What?
all right. Yeah.
Angelina.
Then after that, it was like she turned into a saint, and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm helping the UN, and I'm making a difference in the world, and all that other stuff.
See, for me, I think that part of her is cool, and I just like the roles that she played too, as like a complete badass in different, movies and stuff. But comedy-wise, like Goldie Hawn for sure, and I mean, even just being able to turn it into like, just being able to play different characters and stuff, I definitely want to do that. I don't want to be put in a bucket by any means. Like, I mean, like you just said earlier when we were talking about Kristen Wiig being able to play
God, I love
like
Kristen
Yeah.
Wiig.
a superhero.
A villain.
Yeah, she's
in a
fucking
villain.
hilarious.
She's playing a villain in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Where you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's,
MacGruber.
Yeah.
she's amazing though. Like I'll watch her like impersonations and stuff on SNL, and like I think she's amazing too.
Would
Like,
you ever want to be on it or host SNL?
I think it would be so much fun. Yeah, I love improv. So
So if your manager came to you and said, hey, we have an audition for SNL, would you consider that?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would put a lot of work into it though, because I would need to work on my impersonations and characters. My characters, I would definitely have to work on.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Angelina Jolie's hardcore drama.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what
but maybe that's what intrigues me so much about her, because she's so different from what I do, and I always want to be like building myself. So maybe it's like a goal to be able to get there and build myself in comedy in that world, and just still, now there's no limits. Now you can do comedy, you can do drama, you can do action. Like, just because you're allowed to, I completely rebranded myself on social media. Like, and I can continue to do that because I have the platform to do it. So for me, it's exciting now that I'm able, if I want to start doing more action, all I have to do to brand myself is start making more action-driven content with
Right.
a storyline. So.
Right. And yeah, look, there's a new Tomb Raider coming out.
Yeah, I know. That's
I
exactly.
know.
Why couldn't it have been you?
I know.
I don't know who
You
that
know
girl.
what?
By the way, I don't
Yeah.
know who that girl is, but why couldn't it
We
have
have
been you?
to. We have to
Yeah.
bridge.
I
Do you
just
know who
merged my way
Freddie
in.
Wong is?
Freddie, why is
Freddie
that first?
W.
That's so familiar.
Rocket Jump.
Rocket
He's the
Jump?
king of YouTube action.
I think I've seen him. Yeah, I know the name. I'm sure if
Yeah.
I've seen him.
We need to get these two together.
He's got a gajillion
yeah.
people too.
He's,
Yeah.
he's one of the.
Does
the
he do
OG.
like parkour and stuff? That
No,
No.
he doesn't. He's
No.
definitely out
He
of
was
shape.
like an OG
yeah.
really?
YouTube.
What does he do?
Yeah.
OG YouTube guy.
Yeah.
But it's all action, like hardcore.
But he's out of
action.
shape.
Yeah. Well,
No, not
he's
really.
he's in a shape, more like a Silicon Valley shape.
Oh, okay. So
You know what I'm
he's-
saying?
Yeah,
Where you're
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
you're a guy. He's great. He's been on the show a couple times, but he was one of the first people on YouTube who crossed. He had somebody super famous in his videos.
He's had quite a few.
Who was it?
He had the original Spartacus, the guy that died.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Yes.
He's done. The
Wasn't it
one,
like Keanu Reeves in one of his fucking videos?
No, the director of Cowboys and Aliens, Jon Favreau.
There we go.
They did a video together, and then he also, who's the guy from Way the Gun?
Carradine.
No, the other one.
Ah,
the
fuck.
skinny blonde guy. Yeah, Ryan Phillippe.
Ryan Phillippe. Okay,
Yeah, he's
there we
done a
go.
bunch of stuff with them.
So out of all of those people, Ryan Phillippe was last on that list?
I couldn't think of his name.
No, proud of you. I'm proud of you. Keep smiling. Keep shining. Knowing you can always count on me.
But even with that, like a lot of celebrities now, none of them wanted to do social media
No.
before.
Like-
And now Will Smith has an Instagram and a vlog channel.
He
Like,
just started
yeah.
his Instagram like
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it is fucking crazy. And then you have guys like Tom Hardy, who is, I'm a serious actor. I'm not going to fucking do anything. Now he's on Instagram. Doesn't allow comments on it.
Yeah.
But he's
like,
on
"Fuck
Instagram.
that."
And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize that's the funnest part.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest, probably one of the most difficult things for celebrities that are traditional celebrities moving to Instagram is having to see what people write
Feedback.
Yes.
every single day.
Yeah.
Because for me, I love it because I'm actually, there's a lot of, like, in the beginning when I first started, the comments were like so negative. Like, I would almost want to cry just reading them. And then it got to the point where it got better. Like, people started supporting me. My content kept getting better. And then I was listening to what they were saying, but not like the go kill yourself things. But like,
There's a lot of those, isn't there?
yeah.
Why is that?
It's people like to vent. Like, I realized if I were to reply to that one person that wrote that, I was like, I'm so sorry you're having such a hard day. And then they would reply, oh my God, I didn't know you actually read this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, asshole, I read everything. Like, but still.
But that would be surprising for a lot of people because like somebody like you gets a million comments per thing.
Yeah.
The fact that you're going through it.
I'm so good at reading now.
Are you?
I'm like,
but people at home
Yeah.
don't think it. So they're like, ah, fuck it. Fuck
Yeah.
her. Fuck this. Fuck
Yeah.
that. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. She'll
Life.
never read this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you write one thing, it's, you
like,
can
oh,
tell.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wherever they're at in Iowa,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh no. Like the heat's not working and they're even colder now in their dark heart. And you're just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Cerny knows. And I'm so sorry.
But now, like, my comments are super positive and just like so supportive, and I'd probably get like 1 or 2 just negative comments on there. Like, it's just, I love it now just because I was able to grow. My fans even stick up for me now. Like, I don't have to anymore. Like,
well, I have a theory on it. Your personality and the way you portray yourself on social media is extremely likable. There isn't really much negative you can say. Whereas like the Paul brothers who are taking a ton of shit. I'm not going to pile on and shit on them, but like their personalities and the things they do in some of their content lends themselves
criticism,
wide open to criticism. Whereas
Yeah.
yours doesn't. Like you might think sketches aren't funny or things don't work right,
Yeah.
but it's like overall, and this is just my take on it. Like you're a positive person. All your stuff is professionally shot well. It's funny, and you seem to be engaged with your fans. And you're not like zapping rats or fucking videotaping people hanging from trees. Like
no.
So there is nothing
God.
really to hate there other than, oh my God, this girl's hot. Like, but what else is there?
Yeah.
So I think that's why you probably don't get the hate as everybody else does.
Yeah, I think I was able to become appreciated for putting quality content out there for people instead of just posting modeling photos all the time. I mean,
Yeah, there's a ton of Instagram
Well, and you
shit.
can't
for that.
like
Jeez.
you can't argue with comedy really. Like, and then it's like,
it's
well, we
subjective.
never really went super hard on political things and stuff like that because it's like make something that no one can argue with,
Right.
Because the internet loves to argue.
or make something that do, because that's interaction.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's
'Cause,
like
well,
at
there
the
is
same
that
time.
side of social media
Yeah.
where there is people who are going super like Milo goes super controversial, and I think
The
a lot
shock
of it is on
factor.
exactly
Yeah.
on purpose, where you're right down the middle. You're America. You're the broadest audience you could possibly get.
Yeah.
And if you're a casting director or somebody in town, a studio head, like you gun through your whole social media account, there's nothing they can really get you on that's like, oh man, she was wearing a Nazi uniform 3 years ago. Like, you don't do that type of shit.
No.
So I think your career and your trajectory is only going upwards.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure having you on the show. Yeah. We're at the point in the show now where we do this thing called the Drinkin' Bro of the Week.
Oh, cool.
And it's something or a person that is inspirational or influential that helped you grow as a person or helped who the person you are today is. And so with that, who would be your drinking bro of the week?
Oh, my best friend. Yeah, Batch. Like, he definitely, because for him,
King Batch for the audience, right? Okay.
King Batch. Yeah, he's, we're both from West Palm Beach. We both went to Florida State. We both moved to LA for acting, and we both have the same birthday. So I'm like, all right, you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we didn't meet each other until being out in LA. And for the longest time, people are like, are they in a relationship? Because they're always with each other. But Batch has been like, I can call him about anything. He always gives me his honest opinion. And even though this became more of a business, like
Sure.
throughout and people become weird when money gets involved, and people change. But Batch has always stayed the same and has been able to really just be there for me, like even when I have a question, and me for him. Like, so it's just super supportive, and we're able to like live our different lives and give advice on certain things that we both experience and we're both involved in. But
that's an awesome one. And last question before I let you get out of here. Do you find it like hard navigating like dating and things like that for people who want to use you for your social media accounts? Have you ever had that?
Not for dating. I mean, I'm sure, but you can see right through it. Like, usually.
Tag me.
Yeah.
Tag me. We're at Olive Garden.
Yeah,
Tag me.
yeah.
Tag me in this photo.
Like,
Can you
you're
tag me.
weird.
Tag me. It's a breadstick. Tag me. We're eating breadsticks together. Tag me.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell. Like, that's even with friends too. I mean, I've had experiences definitely with friends more than relationship stuff, because I kind of keep a wall up. And it's like very.
Is it a paywall?
It's
I'm
yeah.
totally
It's $50. So it's like they pay their admission, and then if they're in, then they lose their deposit. So
Right. Right.
No,
Well,
but-
I like it. Gangster. Fucking gangster, Cerny.
yeah. But I also just did want to say one thing that I am doing, like with my best friend and like with another influencer who's been on YouTube forever, Daystorm. He started on YouTube. He was like an OG on that. And this guy Lemmy, who has the platform in the production company, we started this platform called Zeus.
Okay.
And with that, it's like kind of like a Netflix, but for really creators on social media where the industry doesn't fully understand the value of these people yet. And these are like friends of ours and kind of like the top.
We need to get on Zeus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Is it
for
is it
sure.
an app
Yeah, it's an app.
and a website as well?
Yep.
Can you upload video?
Yeah, so it's not like a YouTube. So
Okay.
it's not where you're uploading. Anybody can upload content. It's more
It's
of like
a pay.
we're producing shows and
yeah.
series for each individual influencer. So
Gotcha.
I'll have my own series. Batch will have his own.
So you buy a membership.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a subscription based.
Subscription based, yeah.
Yeah. So
because that's where everything is heading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's also like there's so many content creators that would love to make a series, but they just don't know how. They don't know who to trust doing it. They don't know who to go with to do it.
Or the financial backing.
Exactly. So if like we come to them and we've been working with them for years, like
Right.
a decade, like a lot of them are able to just be like, okay, you're my friend. You're cool. Like I'm going to make money off of this. This is going to grow my brand. This is great for me. Great for your platform. Okay, let's do it.
Sure.
So
So you're
everybody's-
reaching out and helping others try to get to
Yep.
where you are.
Well, yeah, that, and it's also some of the biggest, it's mostly what we're launching with are the biggest influencers with like 10 million to 20 million to 50 million, like altogether following. So these people are already established on social media. It's just nobody has given them the opportunity for their own shows, or they haven't had the trust to be able to do so. Because especially in LA and in Hollywood, you get pitched so much stuff all the time. You don't know.
Nonstop, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what's legitimate or what's not. And people like to talk a lot too. So we just like to say we're going to do, because this is what we do with content every day. Oh, you want to do this? Okay, let's shoot it now. And then we'll get it out in an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's
what it
kind
is.
of like the strategy for our platform too. We're still able to produce quality content, but it's all in the realm of what series around these individuals.
Ooh, Cerny's like a social media Oprah.
Yeah.
Just helping out everybody. Absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We
Thanks.
really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Amanda Cerny, kids. Check her out on Instagram, at Amanda Cerny. Twitter,
Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Vine.
They can find it.
Vero. Did you go the Vero route like everybody? Like,
What's Vero?
yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's posting. Even
Can't-
Joe
we
Rogan
gotta
was
stop
posting
saying
about.
it. We
What
gotta
is
stop
it?
saying
I know.
it. I think it's Syria just data collecting.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's everybody's like, I joined Vero. Like Joe Rogan joined Vero.
Are they
And I
paid
was
to
like,
join?
I
What is
I
it?
don't know. That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to
because
figure
I'm
out.
like, what is it?
I was like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, because
No.
usually a social media app doesn't just pop up out of nowhere.
I
without
have
people
no
getting
idea.
paid.
I see Alexander shaking his head over there. I don't know what it is. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
We
to
should
ask
stay
him.
away.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Oh, he
Yeah,
shot himself.
he says it's dangerous. I have no idea. I listen to Joe
said-
Rogan all the time. I was just like, what the fuck is this? But
Yeah.
no, absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here. For Jared Taylor, Amanda Cerny, I'm Ross Patterson. We're the Drinkin' Bros. Good night, everyone.
Hey.
Yay.